I've been doing some work on the tabs for a contour operation, and you can now do tabs both automatically, as we had before, in that here you go, if the number of tabs is greater than 0, then you can get the tab height, tab width, tab arrangement being star, x-axis, y-axis, or regular intervals as normal, and the tab shapes triangular or square. Now, so these ones here, the tab arrangement star, all of these are what I'd consider sort of automatically generated tabs. So if I use that and generate the G code on this contour, you can see that there were 4 tabs, north, south, east, and west, and there are 4 tabs created in the G code there. If you don't want any tabs, of course, you just set number of tabs equals 0 and generate it, and there's no tabs at all there. But now what you can also do now is go right click on here and say add tag. Now I know I've used the term tab in the past, and that's certainly what the contour stuff is, but these tags and tag objects that were on the profile operation were already named this other way. So anyway, so if you add tag and say pick position, and I can click on there, and let's say I add a second one and set its position, put it down here, say, then you can see there's 2 tag locations there and there. So if I generate the G code now, you'd put a tag there and there beneath each of these tags. So now you need to be a little bit careful in that. Let's say I add another tag, and let's say we put it sort of out here. Now, so this one is more than the one cutting tool diameter away from the sketch. Well, that just means it won't produce the tab there. If we move that one closer, if we make it sort of on the line or very close to the line, then there you go, it works just there. So you can either do tabs or tags, however you want to call them, either manually by having this tags arrangement, and if you have that, if this exists, then you don't have the number of tabs or other tab options in here. The only thing you have is the height and the width values. But if you delete these, so you don't want to do it manually, you want to do it automatically, then all of a sudden you've got number of tabs 0. Let's change that. And so now it's greater than 0. You also all of a sudden have the tab arrangement and the tab shape settings. So anyway, so that's for automatic or manual tabs you can have nowadays. Now the other thing I should note, I've added under the window options, I've added under machining options, there's a couple of new ones. The contour, add construction geometry to file. Yes and no. Now this is you would normally set this to no. It's really just so that when I generate the tabs, I'm actually generating graphics internally, and I just use the graphics and then I throw it away. So it's normally quite transient. So, but if you leave that ticked, instead of throwing the graphics away, I actually add it to the file. So now if I generate some G code, then all of a sudden I've got a whole lot more of these graphical elements added to the design, and you can see center. All of the objects start with this construction geometry title. So look, let me just delete some of those, or most of those, and so let's just look at the speed bumps. So let's leave the speed bump solids there. So there you go, there's the speed bump solids. So those are the solids that I generate at the time I'm generating the G code. And you can see where the green lines come and hit these solids, it actually runs up and over and around the edges of the solids too. Now the other thing to note with this is that I was describing what I used to do with the star arrangement, for example, is I'd start from the center and I'd draw this big long Toblerone bar all the way out, all the way up, etc. in each direction. And that was fine for this sort of shape. But if I drew it for this one, then all the way up into here would mean we'd end up with a tab that went from there down to here, a very long tab, because it would be a vertical Toblerone bar being crossed diagonally by this long thin line. But nowadays, what I do is I draw the line up here, find out where the Toblerone bar would have crossed this line, and at that point I just generate one of those small tab objects just here. And so you can see that now that you shouldn't get those really big long tabs anymore. And of course the angle of these tabs is the angle of the sketch at the point of crossing. So this thing crosses just to the left of the intersection, and these ones are in there, that angle there. So I can delete all that construction geometry and normally you just turn that off and that's the way it is. But if you wanted to sort of see what's going on, you can leave it and let it turn the construction geometry back on. That's fine. I think that's it really for tabs for the new functionality. Anyway, perhaps I'll leave it at that.